Hey everybody, and welcome back to another lecture with Coding with Roby. And in this lecture, we're going to create new APIs that are going to render each one of our HTML templates. So the first thing we need to do is jump into our todos.py file. And inside our todos.py file, we're going to be deleting a lot of things. So starting under our getDB, let's delete our to-do base model and all of the APIs that we've currently wrote. And again, if you ever want to get these APIs again, you can download them directly from this course. And now the first thing we want to do is create a new router.get that has an empty API path. And here, after this, we're going to say, comma, response underscore class equals HTML response. And now under here, we're going to create a new function called async def read all by user. And as the parameter, we're just going to say request of type request. And inside, let's just return templates.templateResponse of home.html with request as the context. Let's save this application and make sure our server's running by typing in uvicorn main:\app reload. And when we open up our browser, we set up a router that all todos.py file APIs are going to be followed first with a prefix of todos. So todos/ is going to now render our todos page. Right under here, let's create a new API, which is going to be for adding a new to-do, but this is just going to be rendering the page. So it's going to be a route.get, and it's going to be add to-do. With a response class of HTML response. And now the function is going to be async def add new to-do. And we're just going to pass in again request: and then return templates.templateResponse of addToDo.html with request as the context. If we save this and open up our browser, and we say add to do, we're now going to be able to get our add to do page. And if we just go to to-dos, it's going to render our home.html page. Now let's do the same thing for our edit to do by saying router.get edit to do. And now we're going to need to pass in a path parameter, and then response class equals HTML response, async def edit to do, request, return templates.templateResponse, edit to do.html, with request as the context. Let's save this and open up our browser. And this time, let's say edit-to-do/1. And here we can see that we get to a let's edit your to-do page. And these numbers right now don't mean anything because we're not actually using this path parameter to query any data as of right now, but we're definitely going to do this in the future. All right, now let's jump over and do our auth.py file. Now we're definitely going to be removing some of this code, but for the time being, let's just right under this post token, create two more APIs. These are going to render our HTML for login and register. But to start, let's go back up to our to-dos and let's grab these two imports, the templating for Jinja and our HTML responses. Because we're going to have to add these to our auth.py file. And then this templates.jinja2 templates with our directory of templates, this is also going to need to be added to our auth.py file. After adding those, let's scroll back down to right under our login for access token. Let's create two more APIs. The first one being @router.get, and inside here, we're going to say empty API because we have our router calling auth. We're going to return a response class of HTML response, and we're going to create a new function, async def auth page request as the parameters, and we need to import request as well from FastAPI. And then return templates.template response of login.html with request as the context. And I'm actually going to rename auth page to authentication page. Let's go back to our browser, and instead of to-dos, let's type in auth. And now we can see we get our login page. And now let's add one more API that will redirect us to our registration page. For this one, we're going to say @router.get register response class of HTML response async def register of request and then return templates.template response register.html with request as our context. All right, let's now go back to our browser. And now let's type in /register. And there we now have our register page. So we have our register page, our login page, our to-dos page, our edit to do, and our add to do. This wraps up creating API requests and router requests to redirect our response to HTML files. And I will see you in the next video.